Hello everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of Let's Analyze! Today, we're going to take a look at the units in the new Bridal Bloom banner, and most importantly, any new mechanics that they may bring us. So to start things off, we have Bridal Ninian, the second flying dancer to grace us in this game. But most important of all, is the wonderful noise that she makes when she attacks. Oh god, this is why I love Brianna Knickerbocker. She makes the strangest noises when the characters attack. Like, huh? Anyway, brain damage noises aside, the most important thing about her is, before anything else, is definitely her class. I would most certainly keep one copy of her around simply because of the amazing support that tactics or guidance on a flying dancer can provide for a mixed team. As for her weapon though, Fresh Bouquet is rather cute, in that it provides her and adjacent allies plus 4 speed as long as she is adjacent to an ally at the start of a turn. So you can think of it kinda like Hone Speed Plus built into a weapon. However, given the prevalence of tactic skills, or simply using Hone Speed, and the fact that there are better tomes being available, I think that this thing doesn't have enough game-changing properties for me to use it over the most broken tomes in the game. Now, if it gave speed without the need of someone right next to you at the start of a turn, or at least simply gave plus 6 speed, then maybe I would skill inherit it to someone else. But otherwise, I guess it's a fine stock option for Ninian and should just be left with her. Now the other skills she provides of note is Chill Attack. Now that's a wonderful skill. Blunting the attack of their strongest attackers anywhere on the map will come in handy. Well, unless they carry Harsh Command anyway. Though it's kinda for my tanky Fear Plus healers. I could use this as an excuse to run Slow Plus on them and really ruin their day. Generally though, chill skills are best for supportive units such as healers and dancers. So it's only fitting that Ninian will be the one carrying it. After that, I guess she's got Drive Speed as fodder material, but we already have Tail Teal for a 4-star solution, so the only thing I'd really sacrifice her is for Chill Attack. Now, as a unit, her stats are completely irrelevant. I'm pretty sure she's gonna have a ridiculously low BST for being a tome dancer. So my guess is that she's probably going to have the standard Ninian stat line, except, well, a lot less. Maybe with a horrible low attack stat that could make even Odin look strong, so that she could put those points into speed and overall bulk. Overall though, I think that Ninian is a fine support unit for arena assault or PvE content. It's a little unfortunate that she didn't come with Hone Flyers as New York Azura did, but if you could afford to give her that, or tactics, she'll be able to fulfill her true destiny. Now of course, if I'm wrong, and she does somehow have good attack stats, then Blarblade is not a poor choice as a side weapon, and causing her to actually be able to fight. Now, next up, we have Sanaki, whom I, and I'm guessing also most of you, didn't expect to see on this banner. Well, she's going to get married. And she's going to get married to herself! Thanks to her flying green tome status, OG Sanaki's Cymbeline now gets to have plus 5 attack and res at the presence of herself. And since she's a generous person, she's going to share a little bit of that to herself as well by providing plus 3 attack to everything within 2 spaces. Which, when compounded with Bridal Sanaki's Niffle Frost Flowers, gives her a hilarious plus 5 attack and 2 speed just by simply being with herself. plus 8 attack if you count the plus 3 already ingrained into the weapon. And if OG Sanaki decides to take drive speed, then we're looking at plus 5 to both, which is simply amazing. Now, simply add 2 more allies into the mix with drive skills, say, Prince Overdrive Marth with his plus 2 to all stats goodness, or Korin with his Yato if you choose to marry him instead, or maybe something simple like a Ninian with a Sea Life Tome or something stupid like that. Then you will have an invincible ball of destruction headed by the deadly Bridal Sanaki. These Niffle Frost Flowers, they're no joke, man, since stacking in battle buffs currently cannot be stopped by any means. So, I mean, I guess you could counter it, if only you could use drag back before a battle happens. You know, that if they have thought of that earlier, that would have been kind of cool. Then we can actually drag them out and then initiate battle. But as it is right now, we currently cannot do this. Anyway, so as long as the Sanaki army can stay together, they are practically unstoppable. Next up, of course, to further compound all this, is the standard attack res bond, which further compounds the ridiculous levels of in-combat buffs as mentioned earlier. Although with this one, you have to be right next to your ally, which makes a better enemy face skill unless you position yourself correctly, or get tossed into a proper position. That being said, the new B skill that she gets, the Dev Res Link, will continue this proud Sanakian tradition of stacking even more stats after she gets tossed around, or if she tosses someone else. This gives them both a massive 6 to both dev and res. Because, you know, just in case we're not strong enough already, this is a great skill. I mean, I knew that one day, they were going to power creep positional skills. And it would appear that instead of doing it directly, like giving it buffs to reposition, like a reposition plus, they're going to pass it on to a new B skill. Well, I think that it's an absolutely hilarious skill, and would be the skill I want to, say, put on my Korin for his Yato shenanigans. This will also give Blade Tome users a ridiculous power buffs that honestly they don't even deserve, and I love every moment of it. Otherwise, I mean, it's a wonderful way to throw a tank into the danger zone and have them tank and obliterate the enemy. So anyway, this here Sanaki combo is the exact reason why in-battle buffs needs to have a counter at some point. I mean, look, back in the ancient era, I showcased my ward armor team to the world. And even to this day, it was still a highly effective ball of destruction that can pretty much clear all of this game's content. So yeah, hopefully that kind of stuff will see counters soon, as clumping into a fine defensive ball is way too dominant a strategy for enemy face, especially now with units such as Bridal Sanaki that got introduced. And even if you don't plan on using her in such a way, Dev Res Link is such a powerful technique that she'll be a great fodder for you and your support units. And finally, the last unit we'll be discussing, we have Bulbasaurus Black. Sporting a jet black wedding dress, Bridal Tharja's Muspel Fire Posse is a plus 3 speed version of the same ridiculous in-battle buffs of Darkness. So really not much else needs to be mentioned there. Now, I feel that her attack speed bond is superior to the attack res bond in terms of being far more universal and is greatly appreciated by my healers. But the real deal behind Bulbasaurus Black is the Speed Feint. So this new skill, although it does cost the action of 1 unit, anytime Bulbasaurus Black uses a rally skill or receives a rally skill, she will shoot out a lazy beam that will cause people to become lazy and lose a staggering of 7 speed. Yeah, it's not a laser beam. It's a lazy beam, okay? It makes you slow, lethargic. And this is a huge deal, as ploys are now seeing a bit of a power creep with this technique. See, now while ploys does have the advantage of costing only a C slot and having more res than the enemy at the start of a turn, feints allow your units to freely choose a location to beam debuff the enemy during a specific turn with no regards to stats at all. So, I mean, I guess you could either beam an enemy and then launch an attack on them with a unit nearby when they're slowed, a coordinated attack. Or you could say, I don't know, use Rally Def and Res, beam the enemy, then end the turn with your tank doubling the enemy to death on the enemy face when they shouldn't have been able to earlier. 7 speed is a huge deal. I guess except against armors, but it'll certainly cripple or aid units that are greatly dependent on speed. Though I think that this technique should be reserved for support units, like, Prince Overdrive Moth, so that your other units can use their B slots, such as Guard or something, to further bolster their advantage instead. Now, another scary thing about this technique is that the AI absolutely love using rallying skills, and it controls them quite nicely, sometimes locking them in place if both unit uses ally. I've seen this happen all the time. Combined with a ball of in-battle buffs like Bulbasaur's Black or Bridal Sanaki, the AI could actually put up a pretty decent fight, so that's something to watch out for. In particular, those stupid drawback stuff that keeps happening. I think that's still happening now. Anyway, in conclusion, although she doesn't get all the crazy mix buff a Sanaki team has, I think that Bulbasaur's Black is probably a great unit with good attack and speed as her original version. However, I also think that her real value lies in giving out the feint mechanics over actually using her as a unit. I mean, think about it. I mean, she's infantry mage. That's a dime a dozen. Sure, the tome is nice. The Muspel flowers are nice, but this technique is something worth passing to everyone. Of course, unless, you're dying to merge her, but merging a seasonal unit, yeah, good luck with that. That's costly. Anyway, that said, I might summon on this banner, but only enough to get 1 or 2 of such fodders to play around with. Especially if you already have a Flyjura already and are not too crazy about the units in particular, I think that this banner is still easy enough to pass. I mean, these mechanics are good, but they're not like super busted. You can still pull off some of these things on your own. But anyway, I think that you can at least do a light summon for fodders in case you want to try out these new mechanics, but it's not a big deal. Now, before we go though, let us all give thanks to Marth for finally receiving an ult. I'll probably never use him, but at least he finally got something. Anyway, I thank you all for watching this brief analysis. Until next time.